What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Wednesday, August 12th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here at the odds.com headquarters. We have a giant day in front of us. Full MLB card, 14 games on the slate and NHL playoffs. We have NBA games to figure out, just a few days away from the NBA playoffs. And we have special guest Nolly Knows in the house. I'm coming off a disappointing day. I got off to a 2-0 start in NBA and then bad betting. Don't take bad numbers. Trailblazers minus 3.5. They win by 3. C-Mac came in the chat and warned me about taking the under, so I end up losing 4 straight in NBA. I'm now sitting plus 0.3 units, 0.32 units on the year in NBA after a 2-4 day, down 2.3 units. Went 2-2 in MLB, so still up 3.85 units, 44-36, hitting 55% on the year. And NHL 0-1 because of the Tampa Bay Lightning overtime winner. And man, do I need these Carolina Hurricanes to take care of business today. I'm wearing all red in support of the Carolina Hurricanes. Shout out to all the cappers in the chat. We got Neil P. ready to get to work. Brian Warner ready to go. Brian Warner saying, go Canes. I love it. There's Buzznuts 721. Mark Unkefer in the house. DX Filer Gamblestein ready to go at 7-1 yesterday. Gamblestein, love it. Let's see who he's on today. Hot hand for our DX Filer. White Sox, Twins, Royals, Yanks, first 5. And run line. And then Philly. Okay, sorry, wait. White Sox, Twins, Royals, Yanks, first 5. And then Philly and the Rockies. I think I'm reading that right. Sorry. It's, Mr. Ghoster in the house, ready to get to work. There's Leo Leon, Mississippi Kid in the house. Man, we've missed Mississippi Kid, ready to go. There's Ron Lofton, ready to eat. Del Toledo needs a winning day. We'll get you that. Mississippi Kid, love seeing that. The Woj in the house. Deer Slayer Ski, Spencer Penny, JK Spenny, Penny Bombs, Joe Yurkovich. Keep an eye on what Joe does. Great day for Joe. I'm on the Padres today. I hope I'm not a day too late. Mark Unkefer, all my big wins were zeroed out with a bunch of live bets on Memphis. Yikes. That sucks. Yeah, I ended up jumping on Memphis late myself. Mistake. Johnny Cage saying Bruins live. I'm not watching the game right now, sadly. I was listening to it while I was capping. Oh, man. Very disappointing yesterday. Kobe Z4 in the house. Already have Hurricanes. Where's Kobe Z? Already have Hurricanes, Capitals, Rockies, White Sox right now. Dutch Boy Fresh in the house. We got Dutch Boy Fresh. Will Oppie ready to go. Ulysses Hayes ready to go. There's my guy, BTC, Big Tom Callahan. Man, we've missed Big Tom Callahan, ready to go. Birdie saying, I've been saying for a week now, in-game for NBA is really the only option. Joseph Gomez, another day to get paid. Let's see Spencer Penny G's NBA plays. Heat minus 1.5. Nuggets plus 5.5. Heat OKC 220. Nugs. You know what? I should copy and paste Spencer's looks here. There's Joey Work, another winning day in MLB. Joey, I don't know how you got that 5, that under 5 in Orioles. In the Orioles Phillies game. Great find. I was saying all day, I was like, if they show me a 5, I'll bet it. If they show me a 5, I'll bet it. And I couldn't find a 5. Great job finding one. And I could have taken the 4.5 anyways. They only scored 3 runs in those first 5 innings. But I was full of fear. There's Trotwam in the house to slow down too much action. Okay, so we got Joey Works NBA plays. I copied and pasted those. And his Spencer Penny G's, his MLB plays, Let's copy and paste those. And there's Viper NB in the house. We have a lot of work to do. And we start out with a bang with the great Nolly Knows joining us right now. So let's get into it. Thank you guys so much for rolling with us today. Big Tom Callahan getting the day started by liking his White Sox. There's Eric Jones ready to go. And Dutch Boy Fresh is only playing in the association today is to stay away. Bada boom! 4-1 yesterday. Everything but the Dodgers came in for him. And I'm liking BTC's look on the White Sox. I already pulled the trigger there, but I only pulled the trigger first 5 because Joe Yurkovich got me really taking a look at the Detroit Tigers bullpen, and it is better than expected, better than I expected them to be. We have a spreadsheet play from Rod Crawford, 10-4-1 for our Rod Crawford spreadsheet. Spectacular play today with the Minnesota Twins. All right, let's get to work. As a team, together we defeat the Juice. Let's bring on the man, the legend. He came to us last Friday. I think it was last Friday, I believe. He came to us from the Westgate Sportsbook, and he had a big day there, and he's going to have another big day here. We got Nutflush in the house. Let's bring him on right now. The man who's made unders great again. Nolly Knows in the house. Nolly, what's happening, my man?
What's going on, Jimmy? Yeah, man, we had it was actually a Saturday. I got in there, was able to hammer them, and got out of there. And it was actually great timing for me because Sunday and Monday weren't all too kind to me. I was able to bounce back yesterday, nice 3-0 day, and let's try to get the ball rolling into today. Let's try to get some cash, man.
Let's try and get some cash, and I've already fired at the White Sox first 5, and it was costly. Minus 135 was costly. There was no point to go minus a half. That was being offered at minus 115, so I wasn't going to do that. White Sox, Tigers. White Sox now 500, 7-3 on the road. Tigers 9-6, a half game behind the Minnesota Twins. Who would have thunk it? Tigers a half game behind the Minnesota Twins in the Central. 83 Fahrenheit, overcast, 4 miles per hour. It's Cease and Boyd going up against each other. Let's see what we're dealing with from a market move perspective. The White Sox open up at minus 125, a 5-cent move towards them to minus 130. This game was initially juiced to the under 9. It's now juiced to the over 9. Not a big move, but definitely a move. White Sox versus lefties, 270, 818. They're smashing lefties. Tigers versus righties, nothing. 205, 653 OPS. Cease 2-1, 4.05 ERA, 1.50 whip. 9K, 6 walks, and 13 and a third, but he's getting close to triple digits on the radar gun. He's throwing hard, and he's looking comfortable on the mound. Matthew Boyd, on the other hand, supposed to be the Tigers' ace. You know, Gardenhire is going to keep throwing him out, keep calling him his ace. But 0-1, 9.20 ERA, 1.91 whip. Boyd, 15 earned runs, tied for the most. Is surrendered 15, tied for the most in the American League. 14 starts against White Sox, 4-6, 4.56 ERA. No CJ Cron. Cease 5 scoreless against the Indians, but he walked 5. 3 starts against Detroit last season, 3.38 ERA, and Lurie Garcia is on the IL. Nolly, I pulled the trigger on the White Sox. Have you made a move on this game?
No, I have not. I have not made a move, but I completely agree with that move that you made. There's a lot of questions here with Matthew Boyd. Like you said, they're continuing to say he's the ace, but there might be another guy in that staff that might be taking over as the ace. Matthew Boyd, 0-1, 9.2 ERA, hasn't looked good as of late, and they're going to continue to throw him out there. They say nothing's wrong. His velocity is down a bit. His breaking balls aren't breaking as hard. They're not looking as sharp right now. They're not a lot of late movement to it. So not a guy that you're really going to trust. And over here on the White Sox scored 11 runs in going 1-4 at home, but they seem to like the road a lot. They won 7 straight on the road, and I expect them to continue that hot streak. They got Tim Anderson back yesterday, who was able to get on and score 2 runs, and that's a big piece for their lineup. That guy works hard. Something that he mentioned in the offseason, he says, I'll never claim to be the best player, but I know I work harder than anybody. And that's the kind of guy you want in the locker room. That's contagious, and that's what I like to see. And like you said with Dylan Cease, he was able to touch 100 miles an hour a couple of times in his last start, and he looked good. He got a nice little bounce back against Cleveland, who touched him up his first time around against them. And I like what I see out of him. And he's only making his 18th start here, so he's still got a lot. He's still a young guy. He's only 24 years old, but a lot of promise to him. And I agree with that, Jimmy. That's kind of the angle that I was looking at, but a little costly, so I laid off. and now of course I always try to look at an angle for an under, but I'm not really liking it here because like with Dylan Cease being that he's so young, there can be some inconsistency. So I'm off this game for now.
Brian Warner got a better line on the first 5 minus I have, minus 105. If I could have got minus 105, I'd probably take it. I was being offered minus 115. It was a 20-cent move. And so I like that breakdown. I'm excited about Cease. I have been since he came up. So I'm going to but you're right. It's costly. It's costly. And now I'm sitting here going, man, a minus 135 wasn't the right move to make.
Well, I mean, the one thing, Jimmy, is what you mentioned was CJ Cron. You don't look at his average and he doesn't look all spectacular, but when the coach Gardenhire, he's saying it kind of knocks your socks off losing your big first baseman. Said lineup construction is different. So they're feeling it. I understand they've been putting up runs, but that they're getting impacted by this, and I expect Cease to come out, have a strong start. I'm getting convinced more and more of this. I think I'm liking your spot.
Yeah. Hunter Engelhardt liking the White Sox team total over says that is a good look. I did take a look at that as well. My thought not making a move there was that it's not beyond me for Boyd to get his act together and to get his shit right and start throwing better. I still like Cease in this spot, and I still like the way White Sox are hitting lefties so far in this short year. We got a bunch of great cappers in the house with us right now. Ulysses Hayes, Spenny Pennyboss, Mr. Gokster, Birdie, Dutch Boy Fresh, Ron Lofton, Justin Cole, DJ Big Boss, Darian Santiago, Brian Warner, Joey Work, Hunter Engelhardt. Hunter Engelhardt, by the way, will be making his Betting with the Bag debut here shortly. So keep an eye out for our guy, Hunter, in the house. All right. And it's not his really his debut. I should say his odds.com Betting with the Bag debut because he rolled with us a couple of years back. All right. Let's make moves. Diamondbacks, Rockies next up. 94 Fahrenheit clear, 8 miles per hour sideways in. One of the things that bothered me yesterday was watching. Well, it bothered me just that I didn't jump on with you guys. I was very happy that you cashed. You made it look easy. You guys cashed the Diamondbacks, Rockies, no score first inning. You guys cashed the first 5 under 6. It was very well done. And I was like, why did I not jump on with the low baggers? Because you guys were all over it. 94 Fahrenheit clear, 8 miles per hour sideways in. Let's take a look at the market moves here. Opens up as a pick'em and still a pick'em. This total opens up at 11.5. It's gone up to 12 and even 12.5 at some books. Weaver versus Attella. Weaver looked good last year when he came over in the trade, and Diamondbacks demanded him as part of that trade. 2 years ago, I had Weaver in the baseball pool. I thought he was a stud. I got him late, but I still was like, man, this could be a steal, and he just couldn't get right. He couldn't get right all year, and he couldn't get through the lineup twice, and we're seeing that again. 0-3, 12.19 ERA, 2.13 whip, 10 in the third, 14 Ks, 6 walks, 5 homers. They keep saying he's got elite stuff, but he's got to get the job done. And then we have Attella, which is the complete opposite situation. He was so bad last year, ERA just under 7. He's looked good, 3-0, 2.65 ERA, 1.18 whip. D-backs aren't hitting righties, although that number is going up, 230, 682 OPS. Rockies versus righties, 270, 775 OPS. Weaver, 2.94 ERA in 2019. I didn't even realize it was that good. I mean, he had a really good year last year. 1-1, 6.57 ERA in 4 games in his career against Colorado. 6 runs. He's allowed 6 runs in each of his 2 starts. And Attella, as we said, 2-4, 6.25 ERA as a starter against the Diamondbacks. A lot of that beating he took was last year. And Charlie Blackmon sitting here batting 500. I have not made a move on this game. Nolly, Diamondbacks, Rockies, what are you doing here?
This is an interesting game. Like you said yesterday, we were able to get a nice low number with that 6.5 because of what happened the day before. But Freeland's doing his thing. We were able to cash. But here today, it'd be difficult for me to sit here and keep taking these. That was the first 5 under over was the day before on Monday. And I mean, I was on the majority of those, but it's tough. Attella has looked good to start the season, but to me, that's not really an indication of who he is. His numbers are slightly above average pitcher, and being in Colorado and the way the ball's moving around, not really a guy that I trust too much. But on the opposite side with Weaver, Yeah, like you said, when he first came in with the Diamondbacks, he was lights out, and he's shown signs of greatness. And at age 26, this is a guy that you expect to come in and be poised to come in and take control this year, and he hasn't shown that. Like you said, the second time around the order has been his kryptonite. The fourth inning, he has not been able to get through it, and that's tough for me to sit here and back a guy like that, especially against the Colorado Rockies, who pretty much the hottest team in baseball. They're first in batting average. They're second in home runs. They're ninth in home runs. They're second in total runs. And like you said, Charlie Blackmon is tearing it up, and I expect him to continue what he's doing. It's tough for me to sit here and try to back any of these pitchers. And it's at a high number that it is. I was looking initially at the over, but a little too high for me. So in this game, I'm going to stay off of this game right now.
I'm going to stay off of it too. Damon Santori saying Weaver sits dead middle too much of the plate. When people are getting on his off speed, he gets scared. There's Mark Rosado in the house. Great to see you, Mark, my man. C-Mac in the house here, coming off a perfect day. By the way, if you are following Connor Mack on Twitter, he's hit 12 straight. 12 straight. Hey, Nolly for C-Mac, 12 straight. Connor Mack will also be making his Betting with the Bag debut shortly. All right, let's keep rolling. DJ Big Boss saying today might be an over day. There's Manny R in the house. Damon Santor, don't worry about the fat fingers. Okay, so off that game, let's move on to A's, Angels, Bassett, Canning. I said here at the beginning of the year, I expect Canning to have a good season, and I still do. And, you know, his whip is high. He's walking too many batters still, but I expect him to have a good season. There's Big Mo in the house. Mo Sports rolling with us. Christopher Comatini says, damn, wanted Bruins live. They just scored. I thought they might get called back. Anybody? No call back? Very disheartening. Mrazek's a bum. 84 Fahrenheit clear, 8 miles per hour out to right center. A's, Angels. Let's see what we're dealing with. Opens up at minus 120 for the Angels, and there's been a 10-cent move at Bet365 over to the Oakland A's. Now a pick 'em. This total opened up at 9.5, and it's now down to 9. And Bassett pitching nice. 1.08 ERA, 0.90 whip. 31 years old. He's coming into his own, looking very strong. Last out holds Houston to 1 run, 3 hits, 3 walks in 7 innings. A's versus righties, not hitting them hard, 213, 700 OPS. Angels versus righties, 239, 802 OPS. A lot of power with a weak average. Chapman doing his thing, smashing the ball. I'm 0 for 3 day yesterday, but smashing the ball right now. And Canning, 1-2, 3.97 ERA in 4 career starts against Oakland. And Trout, since his son was born, 343, 6 homers, 10 RBIs. I mean, what can you say about the man? All right. Let's go. No goal. There we go. No goal. Not even watching it. That's what I wanted to see. Thank you, guys. The dirty Bruins, man. Just the dirtiest group of hockey players I've ever seen. But I like, you got to like dirty and truculence in the playoffs. Okay, A's, Angels. Nolly, what do you think here? Making a move?
This one I'm kind of curious to see what I'm gonna do, but the one thing I'm looking at is I'm actually looking at a side here. On the mound here for the Oakland A's, you got Chris Bassett, and he's looked really well. His last start here against Oakland, I tried to back them with the first 5 under. On the other side, Javier for Houston kind of gave up the cheeks and kind of screwed that over for me. But Bassett did his part, and he's looked really good. 0.9 whip, 1.08 ERA, and he faced this Angels team already in his first start, and he did fairly well. Same thing for Griffin Canning. He faced this team. It was the same matchup. The one thing that I'm looking at when I see on the other side for the Angels, a couple of things. Yesterday they were able to win. They were able to get to Mike Fiers. That's a guy they consistently get to. They were able to face him earlier in the season, and they got to him. So to me, that was no surprise. But the Angel bats aren't really that hot. Previous to that, they had struck out 10 times in at least 6 straight games as a team. And I really don't think that they're going to do too well here against Oakland. And getting a short number with Oakland, seeing how they're hitting and the way not necessarily how they're hitting, but producing runs. Because as a team, their batting average isn't that high. But we talked about it before. They draw walks. They have a really high on-base percentage. And what bothers me with Griffin Canning for the Angels, his inability to fight in the strike zone. He walked 6 people. He had 6 walks his last time out, and that's a problem for me. So here, the way I'm looking at this game, and I might attack it, I'm thinking Oakland first 5 money line. Not a game that I've pulled the trigger on yet, but I think I'll find my way to the window with that one.
Yeah. The Angels seem to be locked in a little more offensively, but you're right about the A's producing runs, even though they're not hitting at a high average and a high OPS. Wow, what a roller coaster ride this game is that I'm not watching. Sorry, I get so involved in it. 2-2 now, Hurricanes, Bruins. First 5 A's backing Bassett. That makes sense. What's your expectation of Griffin Canning this year?
See that? I expect a lot of growing pains, to be honest. I think he's thrown in there a little bit early. Not a guy nothing overpowering. Not a guy I'm really too high on. But he can come out and do his thing, get some ground balls, but he needs to get command of his fastball. He needs to get strike one, and that's the big important thing. That's something that you see with a lot of youngsters. They need to get control. And I think he struggles here again, being that he's seen them recently. He'll struggle, I think, more than Bassett will.
Joe, you're saying Bassett's not this good. Well, I mean, 1.08 ERA, 0.9.
Yeah, definitely not that good, but
yeah.
Good enough. And I expect better than Bassett. I mean, better than Griffin, I'm sorry.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to great bet. Eric Rosas on the over 5.5 for plus 110 in this hockey game going on. Okay. Tony Mang. It was Claudio S. Sorry that we're all over the map here, but Claudio S. saying, "I hope Buddy took that point goal." I hated that because we love Claudio S. And he was like, "Should he take Braden Point, score goal plus 150?" I'm like, the odds do not work in your favor if he scores 5 minutes in. Man, I felt bad about that. Claudio S., wherever you are, I'm so sorry, man. I was just eating my words. I'm a little. I'm not going to add an extra play here. I like your possible look on the A's first 5. I can understand why Joe is interested in the Angels. I'm just going to stay off of it. Let's move on to a game that has Nolly Knows written all over it. Kyle Hendricks, Carlos Carrasco, Cubs, Indians. I'm going to let Nolly take it away completely, but beat the market, move 8 to 7.5, full game, and let's see what that first half is. First half. Okay, so I didn't beat a market move there. Nolly Knows, take it away. I know this has 2 classy pitchers in a game that you've had your eye on.
Oh, yeah, definitely. If you know me well, Jimmy, I'm looking for the unders, and I'm looking for these great pitchers, and that's what we have here with Kyle Hendricks and Carlos Carrasco. To me, if you look at Kyle Hendricks and what he was able to do in that World Series run, he's a big reason that the Chicago Cubs have a World Series title. This is a guy, nothing flashy, but he gets the job done. Came out in his very first outing, threw a complete game, 3-hit shutout. Looked very impressive, especially considering when you look at the majority of the league is only throwing 3-4 innings with the majority of their starters. So to me, I was very impressed with that. He did have a letdown spot the very next time after throwing 112 pitches, but that's to be expected. And then he comes right back out and throws 7 strong innings. And the thing is, he's had 8 days since that start, so I think he's well rested and going to face a Cleveland team who, I mean, it's pretty well known how bad they've been hitting. They're 30th in the league in batting average. They're 30th in slugging percentage, but they can pitch the ball. They've got the best pitching staff in the league, and not just that, Cleveland hasn't seen Hendricks since the World Series, since Game 7 of the World Series. So it's been a long time. A lot of these guys have never seen him. So advantage to Hendricks, I believe. And on the other side, you guys heard me talk about it before. Feel good story, and Cookie Carrasco was able to battle back from cancer, and he's looked really, really good. And the thing about it, he's looking better and better. He had his best start out last time out, and here a lot of these guys are unfamiliar with him, also with the Chicago lineup. And the way I'm looking at it, the way Chicago really they haven't played much, and they haven't played much. They were able to put up some runs yesterday, but here against Cookie, I don't expect it to happen. And then when you just look at the plain stats for Cleveland. When you're looking at first 5 under First 5, they are 14-2-1 to the under. Full game, they are 15-3 to the under. This is a team that, honestly, I've made a lot of money betting unders in the last few years with them. They go on slumps. That's what they do, especially early in the games. So here in this game, I'm attacking it. I'm attacking it hard. I'm on the first 5 under and the full game under.
I didn't pull the trigger on the full game under. And watching it go from 8 to 7.5. We got Alex Ramirez, Spidey play of the day in the house. Spidey, don't leave us. Don't leave us, Spidey. Don't leave us. C-Mac liking the under here, first 5 in full game. Spenny Pennybaum's also on this first 5 under. I got the first 5 under 4 at minus 115. 10 miles per hour in at Wrigley is going to help us. Indians hitting 192 as a team, slugging 294. 188, 589 OPS versus righties. And as you talked about, Carrasco, man, a very difficult year last year with leukemia. And now opponents are batting 188 off him to start the year. But an important question from the chat. A Porch Monkey said, who was the Twitter guy with 12-game heater? It's Connor Mack picks right there. Connor Mack picks. He's right there in the chat. A lot of questions here about whether Hendricks can do the job on the road. Nolly, it's been his Achilles heel. What do you think about the legitimate concerns from these cappers in the chat about Hendricks doing the job on the road?
From what I see in the stats, and I break down his stats, he had a rough time on the road last year. If you look at his stats previous to that, he's actually better on the road. 2018 and 2017, he was much better on the road, much higher K-to-9 ratio, and not really a concern for me. His extra days of rest is something that I like, especially going against a tough opponent. These pitchers know who they're going against, and I understand it's not pitcher versus pitcher, but it becomes a duel in that sense. And I expect them to have a good outing. I understand last year was that, but I look at last year as an outlier.
I like it. And man, Joey Work again getting a 4.5. I don't see a 4.5 as an opening line anywhere. Nice work, Joey, finding that 4.5. I don't see it exist. Like I don't know. Great job finding it, because that would have been a full mode attack. All right, let's keep moving here. Great breakdown. Cubs, Indians, Marlins, Blue Jays. We'll move here. 79 Fahrenheit clear, 4 miles per hour. And Viper says 4.5 on FanDuel still. Look at that. Great job.
Jump on it.
Sean Schmidt got 4.5 too. Wow. Joey Work attacking the markets at the right time. Great job, Joey. Great job. Okay, let's keep rolling. Marlins, Blue Jays, 79 Fahrenheit clear, 4 miles per hour out to left. And look, Shaft bet MGM. First 5 under 4.5 minus 121. Oh, attack it. Okay, Yamamoto, Pearson, 2 young pitchers with a ton of potential. And what we saw from Yamamoto, he came out halfway through the season last year and was untouchable for 3 or 4 starts. The league got the tape on him, and now he's getting hammered. Will the same thing happen to Pearson? It doesn't tend to happen as much to these guys who throw 99, 100 as it does to these more sneaky pitchers who use, a lot of sliders and change-ups, and that's what Yamamoto does. Marlins versus righties, 215 with a 690 OPS. Jays versus righties, 221 with a 684 OPS. Jays win their first game in Buffalo at Salem Field last night, 5-4 in extra innings over these Marlins. I'm still on first 5. Let's see what we're talking about. Full game, money lines, and totals here. Jays open up at minus 165. They're still there. This total opens up at 8.5. It's still there. There's been no market move there. There's Lamont Williams in the house. Great to see you, Lamont. Lamont coming off another monster day. And Joey saying he got 4.5 at minus 125, but I'll take it. Look, I'd pay 10 cents more than I paid to get a 4.5. Joey, it's a great look. It's a great look. Great look. Mariners have now lost 3 straight, and we are all high on Nate Pearson. But I didn't want him as this big of a favorite. How did you handle this, Nolly?
When I look at this game, I instantly thought, Jimmy's favorite pitcher, Jordan Yamamoto. Yeah. And but really, I know he came out hot. I was able to jump on him early. Just the unknown. I got him early, and I rode a couple games, but right away he started getting lit up. And not a guy that I really like. Doesn't really find the strike zone. Not able to work work the strike zone the way the guy like Kyle Hendricks is able to when you have that type of pitching. And on the other side, Pearson, there's no secret about it. I'm a big fan of his. Seeing what he had last time out, he didn't look like he was as dominant as he can be, and he looked like he exerted himself a little bit too much early, getting into the hundreds early, a little bit too much when he didn't need to, overthrowing, and he started throwing 96 after that. So I expect it was a learning experience, and I expect him to grow off of that because it was still a great outing. You know, the kid still looks really, really good. I see a big advantage here with the Blue Jays in the pitching, but I'm not sure how to handle the Blue Jays because they really haven't been hitting that well. Even if you look at both sides here, the Blue Jays are 29th in runs per game. Marlins are 28th for runs per game. Slugging for the Blue Jays is 26. Not really producing the way that they thought. Bo Bichette's really struggling at the plate. He got a couple hits yesterday, but yeah, these guys are really not hitting. So I started looking at a first 5 under, but the guy I can't really trust is Yamamoto. Maybe these bats for the Blue Jays start getting hot today, but honestly, right now I'm so kind of going back and forth between all these stats and what I might like. I'm just gonna stay off of this game and maybe try to catch something live if I see something. Maybe some runs early, maybe take a live under.
It's a stay off for me as well. And even looking at, we were pretty fortunate to get to the 5 strikeouts. We had the over 4.5. It was juiced last start at minus 130. We got to 5 strikeouts in his final inning. Now it's at 5.5. And my actual instinct is take the under. I'm not going to. Mr. Ghoster is going to back these Jays. Let's move on to Royals Reds. Very excited when my capping links up with Nolly Knows, and it happened right here with Royals Reds. We're going to get into exactly what bet we are on both together in a second. Royals 7-11, 3-7 on the road. Reds 8-9, 4-5 on the road. 4-5 at home. 86 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy. 5 miles per hour, sideways right across the diamond. Royals are smashing lefties. Well, they're hitting lefties, but they're not hitting it with a ton of power. 307, 808 OPS. If you go back to what the Angels are doing against righties, they have almost the same OPS, but with a 239 average. So there's some rinky-dink hits going on with the Royals, but they're getting after lefties. Reds aren't hitting righties at all. 197, 681 OPS. And the Reds are on pace to do something that's only been done twice in Major League history, and it really hasn't been done. Because the only two times it's happened is with the Tampa Bay Rays, and that's when they were always going with starters. But the Red starters have given up fewer runs than their relievers through 17 games, which is unheard of. Their starters have given up 32 runs, 26 earned in 93 innings. Their relievers have given up 44 earned runs, 50 overall, in 52 and a third innings. They're just getting destroyed. So if you're backing the Reds moving forward, and this wasn't something we expected. We expected them to have a strong bullpen. They have to be back first 5. And then we have Wade Miley coming back to the active roster after a 10-day stint on the IL, strained left groin. Only started the season. He allowed 5 earned runs in 1 2/3 against the Cubs. He's been good against the Royals in his career, 5-2, 3.38 ERA. And Brad Keller looked like a stud in his first start off of COVID. He looked very good. The Royals beat up on the Cubs in his last start, 13-2. Nolly Knows, take it away, Royals Reds.
Yeah, Royals Reds. Right away when I look at this, a lot of question marks over here on the red side. Wade Miley, yeah, like you said, he had that growing issue. Something that he mentioned that is actually it snuck up on him close to before the start. He tried to just stick it out and go through it, and he wasn't able to. Just needed a few days of rest, is what he says. But when you look at it, if you look at the start, you can tell he wasn't able to push off very, very well. But I'm not sure what to expect from Wade Miley right now. He was able to find some stuff over there with Milwaukee. It was able to do some things well, but he can't get hit hard. And the way that the Kansas City Royals are hitting, especially these lefties, I find he might be vulnerable today. Kansas City is 3rd in batting average. They're 13th in runs. 13th in run. They're 8th in slugging. Somewhat of a surprise to some, but they actually been hitting the last couple of seasons. And on the other side, you got Brad Keller, who in 2018 was a stud. He earned their A spot, and I think it was well deserved. Last year, I think I mentioned it on the previous show. I think he was trying to overreach, trying to go for the too many strikeouts, and there was concern for his first start as well. He got pushed back just for little injury concerns, but he looked really good. He looked really dominant. And the way that these bats are for Kansas City are looking, I think I got an advantage here against the lefties. Like you said, batting 306 against the lefties. I think they get to Wade Miley early, and I think Keller looks good again. I'm taking Kansas City first 5 money line here.
Same here. Kansas City first 5 money line minus 110. And I'd go as far as to say it's my favorite look on the baseball card at this point with my action, unless something is illuminated to me over the next breakdown. This is my favorite look on the card. Royals first 5 minus 110. There's Brandon Lugo in the house. Great to see you, Brandon. My man, Johnny Cage, rolling with us. Lamont Williams jumped in to give us his best look. Cleveland K's over. Cleveland K's over is his look. Lamont Williams and Mr. Gokes are going a team total first 5 as well with Kansas City. All right, let's keep rolling. Royals first 5 minus 110. Nolly and I both on. So of Nolly's looks here, I'm on them as well. I'm on that first 5 under 4 minus 115. He's also with Cubs Indians, but he's also on the Cubs Indians full game under. Okay, let's keep moving through this MLB card. We have Nolly Knows, the great Nolly Knows, rolling with us here live on odds.com headquarters. Braves, Yankees, 82 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 6 miles per hour, out to left center. Oscar. Let's go with Oscar Enoa. Last year, 2019, in high A Florida, double A Mississippi, triple A Gwinnett, came all the way up, but did not look that good. 5.09 ERA, 1.56. Oh, and Melvin saying Lamont's max bet was White Sox first 5 under. Okay, so he was also adding. Okay, thank you. He was also adding the Cleveland K's. Okay, thank you, Melvin. A very, very important point to make because he's so successful with his max bets. So thank you, Melvin, for catching that. 5.09 ERA last year for 1.56 whip, 110 Ks, 97 and a third, but 45 walks. I don't see how he doesn't get touched here. And I'm already getting a better line than I could have got a while ago when this line popped up at Bet365. It was minus 200. Now it's minus 192. Tanaka is starting to get so he pitched Friday in a 1-0 loss to Tampa. 5 shutout innings, 1 hit. He threw 51 pitches in 2 2/3 in his season debut against Boston. So 59 pitches on Friday. He wants to be stretched out, but they're very slow to doing that. Acuna didn't play yesterday for the Braves. They're getting beaten up on the mound. 22 runs in the last 2 games they've allowed. They've lost both of those games. Braves versus righties, 265, 829 OPS. Yankees versus righties, 246, 790 OPS. Look, this is a big big favorite, but I almost want to back it. I wanted to talk it out first, but it just feels like this is a spot where the Yankees destroy. There's Noah Manion in the house. Great to see you, Noah. He's on White Sox run line. Great to see you, Noah. Rob Greer ready to get to work. We have Schaff in the house. Braves, Yankees. Take it away, Nolly.
Yeah, Braves, Yankees, right away when you look at it, it's going to be a bullpen day for the Braves. A lot of unknowns, so that's something to be concerned of. And especially the Braves bullpen, they're on the up and up, but I'm not sure what to expect from this youngster and who probably going to give us maybe 2 innings, especially against this Yankee lineup. I don't look to really trust them. And on the other side, you got Masahiro Tanaka, who's dealing with the concussion. That's why they're being a little bit slow. He hasn't pitched deep into games, but he looked really, really good against Tampa Bay. Facing Snell, which was a great matchup. Actually, Snell made his debut against the Yankees, against Tanaka. I always remember that game. I was on that under. So I like Tanaka, especially when he's at home. At Yankee Stadium, he's pitched really, really well. His home road splits, you can tell, especially last year. He likes being there. He feels comfortable, which is a little crazy because it's a little league field. So who would want to pitch there? But he feels really good, and the Yankees are hitting. This is a team that I pretty much stay away from most of their unders. I've hit a couple. I think I'm 2-1, but I think I'm not going to be testing the waters for a while. They've been putting up runs galore, and so have this Braves. The Braves lineup has looked really good, and so that's why I'm a little bit unsure of what to expect, especially the fact that Tanaka hasn't been going deep into games. I'm very high on him, and I expect that there's an advantage here with him, especially against this youngster starting and against the bullpen with the first five and a better lineup. But not something that I'm willing to take any money on, especially at that such a steep price.
So what are the red flags, especially if Acuna's not in the lineup? What are the red flags that are keeping you off backing the big favorite here?
I just don't really like to bet the big favorite like that. Just not really my thing. And the fact that the Braves can hit, and Tanaka. If Tanaka, yeah, he's been solid, but he's not what he used to be. And in the regular season, he's one guy. In the postseason, he's completely dominant. And not every guy is completely dominant right now. Not a guy I'm going to trust every single time out. And really, when you look at Atlanta, they're first in runs, runs scored, 101 runs scored. So they're always in the game with the way they've been hitting.
Yeah, and it's Tyler Matzek who's going to come in. The lefty is going to be the primary pitcher today. Acuna not expected in the lineup, not in the expected lineup, but it still is a dangerous lineup. And then we have Judge hitting at a monster pace, but no Stanton.
Ridiculous.
In the Yankees lineup. I don't know. I'm thinking of paying the cost here. I'm really thinking of paying the cost. By the way, you guys, tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, episode 6 of Low Baggers. That's how we do the poker episode starring comedian Tim Steves. That is tonight at 8 p.m. I hope you guys join us. It's going to be extremely enjoyable. I think I'm going to pay the price here. The Braves, I mean, their pitching is a mess right now. It's expensive. The -0.5 is -145. And then the -1 will be about the same. Okay, I'm going to sit on it and think about it right now. Let's move on to Orioles Phillies. There was a few bets I made last night. This is one of them. I took the Phillies -1 last night. I'm going to fade Wade LeBlanc against any team that smashes lefties, and the Phillies count as a team that smashes lefties. Just .258 average, but .914 OPS. The Orioles have won 3 straight. The Phillies are letting these games fly past them, these must-wins in a 60-game season. They are losing, like last night, it's 10-9 loss to the Orioles. Eflin looked good enough in his first start, and I came very close to taking the Phillies team total over 5.5. I decided not to. I did take the Phillies first 5 -0.5 and -135, so I doubled up on the Phillies. I don't care that LeBlanc has a 2.89 ERA in 8 appearances against the Phillies. I don't care how bad the Phillies bullpen is. I think that I have an advantage with starting pitching and with a lineup, and I have an angry ball club who wants to smash Wade. So I took it. I doubled up on the Phillies -1 in the first 5, -0.5. Take it away, Nolly. Orioles, Phillies.
Yeah, that was an interesting game yesterday. I was actually on the first 5 under, and I was able to cash it and get out of there because right immediately after the 5th inning, the fireworks started to happen. Orioles are actually hitting a little bit better than I thought as coming into the season, and now they got Wade LeBlanc on the mound, who we are doubting him last time out, if you remember, Jimmy, and I have full reason to keep on fading him. He hasn't looked good, and he hasn't looked good in a long time. And Zach Eflin, I mentioned about an average pitcher stat-wise, and he was able to throw well. He throws a lot of sinkers, gets a lot of ground balls. He only allowed 4 hits, no earned runs in 4 innings, and he just threw 77 pitches, so he was very efficient. He's very, very efficient. And like you said, the way that they lost yesterday and the way they've been able to hit lefties in the short span, I would lean to the Phillies here, but I'm not sure because Eflin is the guy that's just up and down for me. So I was more so looking at a total perspective. I was leaning towards the over here, but not enough for me to jump on the over because it takes a lot for me to take over.
Joy Work is making a move on the full game over here. We got Aunt L joining us. Aunt L will be on our show tomorrow. Also, Luffy D Monkey coming to us live from Mumbai in the house. Great to see you, Luffy. Okay, let's keep rolling. I doubled up there. Now we get to Giants Astros, and Nut Flush making a move on Astros, and I came close. I came so close to pressing the button, and I stopped. I don't know what Cahill's going to give you, and often these vets who are, who almost don't have a job can surprise. And it's not only that, it's that the Astros are falling apart. They're making mental mistakes on the base pass. They lost 3 runners on the base pass last night. Their relievers are falling apart. And last night, Taylor, Presley, and Snead looked awful. Sure, Greinke is much better than Cahill, but Cahill's job is on the line here. I'm hesitant. Maybe I shouldn't be. If you want the Astros right now, they're the exact same as the Yankees. They have an identical. They're minus 192. What do you think of the Astros Giants here, Nolly?
Yeah, Astros. This is an interesting game. I definitely see an advantage with Greinke, but like you said, when you look on the other side with Cahill, there is unknown. He's a very tricky pitcher. He spent time with the A's, most recently with the Angels, and a lot of junk ball, a lot of spinning balls can get you off balance. He's a veteran. He can get outs, and there's no reason why he can't give you 3 strong innings here. But he could also get lit up. So there's a lot of unknown here. On the other side, Greinke's looked solid so far. 3 ERA and 3 starts, 15 innings pitched, only 5 earned runs, and strikeout 11. He's looked pretty good. And the thing is, when you see with the Giants can get a lot of hits, but it takes a lot of hits for them to score. They have a really low slugging percentage. They're 18th in the league in slugging, but they're 9th in batting average. And Solano has a lot to do with that. He's been killing righties, and he continues to do his thing over there. With San Francisco, but it's tough. This is a very tough spot for me because, like you said, Jimmy, he's fighting for his life, but he's on his last strings. He's seen more days behind him than ahead of him, and not a guy that I'm willing to trust here in this spot, especially the San Francisco Ball Club, who I've been fading them quite a bit on the side. I got their under, and I continue to pound their unders. I don't think they're a very good ball club right now. A lot of errors in the field, a lot of mental mistakes from this young team, and I don't know. That's not a team I'm ever willing to back. It's Houston or nothing. But I don't lay these prices. It's not something that I'm not consistent with these. Not something I like.
Big Boss not afraid. Big Boss, Big Chinga play of the day. Astros run line at plus 100. And Al says laying a price with the Astros going forward is going to be difficult. They could be an over team. I'm going to stay
they're definitely
off.
an over team.
Yeah,
they're definitely they've been an over team.
But I get caught up in a vividness thing with the Astros. I have a bad ROI on taking their overs over the last few years, even though they hit hard. But they're not hitting hard right now. 236.92 OPS versus righties. Giants versus righties, 246.685 OPS. And Nutflush Jr. It is Nutflush Senior using Junior's account. And Nutflush is our San Francisco Giants expert, and he has already made a move on the run line for the Astros.
I mean, if you look at their – I'm sorry, Jimmy, but if you look at the first five for the Astros at home, they're 6-1-1 to the over. These guys are cashing overs right now.
Yeah. I think I'm going to stay off, at this point. You know what? I'll leave that question mark back up there. All right, let's go to Twins Brewers. I'm expecting the roof to be closed, but I don't know if anyone knows for sure. 78 Fahrenheit, cloudy, 6 miles per hour in Maeda. 2-0. 2.65 ERA, 0.65 whip to start the year. We talked about him before his last start. He just looks very strong. Eric Lauer is Padres didn't want him. And the Brewers, thankfully, have a spectacular bullpen because it's not long for games. He's thrown 5 2/3 so far, 8 Ks, 4 walks, 9.53 ERA, 1.76 whip. Brewers versus righties, 215, 659. Twins versus lefties. So you found the Twins' Achilles heel, 229, 632 OPS. They have such a strong lineup, but aren't hitting lefties this year. They've lost 5 of 6, including last night, 6-4. And I'm not going to take the road favorite when they're not hitting lefties. But Al says twins. Mr. Ghoster says Twinkies all over. So maybe this is a mistake by me. Twins, Brewers. Let's just take a quick peek here at the market moves. And opens up at minus 145. And there's been a 15-cent move towards the Brewers. It's minus 130. And this total's gone from 8.5 to 9. Nolly Knows, is there a move to make here?
This is a game that's a little interesting because I was watching this game very closely yesterday. If you guys follow my account, I was able to jump on a full game live under 10.5. They got to 10, able to cash that, and it looked a little bit of vintage Milwaukee Brewers, what you've seen the last few years. They were able to shut it down with their bullpen and able to scratch and claw their way back and able to get the lead back late in the end of the 8th inning with Christian Yelich, of all people, who's actually getting hot right now. Double to get the game going, get that rally going. And what I like what I see out of their bullpen. They have a strong bullpen, like you said. So if they can make it to their bullpen, they've got a shot. But a lot of question marks with Eric Lauer here. Like you said, Minnesota has struggled against the lefty more than the righty, but it's a smaller sample size. They faced significantly more righties. And Eric Lauer did not look very good in his last start. I know he does throw well against the Dodgers for some reason, but in all of their starts, below average starter, and not really a guy that I'm too keen on, but he can make solid starts. On the other side, you got Kenta Maeda. Kenta Maeda has looked really, really good. He made one mistake last time out, but it happened to be a 3-run home run to Polanco, who's been garbage this year. But otherwise, he retired 15 of his last 16 batters. He's only allowed 8 hits in his first 3 starts. He likes the role. It's something I mentioned before. He likes the role he's in. He wants to be a starter, and he's here to prove himself. And I like the way he's pitching. The way that the Twins lost yesterday, I like that angle, going back on the Twins today. But I'm not too sure. The way the bats just kind of died out at the end, I'm kind of keen on that. I'm leaning towards the first 5 under, but I'm not making a move yet. It's a game that I'm really looking at to take live. Even if you have a second half number, I'm thinking about a second half under.
Interesting. Yeah, I like that breakdown a lot. This is going to be a stay off for me, Twins Brew Crew, just because of the Twins' lack of success against lefties in this small sample size. Let's move on to Nats Mets. I don't know if anybody knows if the Mets have a starting pitcher. I see that 2 books have now opened up action on this game. I wanted to know what the action was. There's Lucky Lefty in the house. Great to see you, Lucky Lefty, my man. 82 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 6 miles per hour out to left center. The Mets 7-11 overall, 3-7 at home. Nats have not lost on the road yet, 4-0. But Sanchez is somebody I want to fade. Mets first righties 253, 694 OPS. So I don't know if it's going to be Walker Lockett. There was a talk about Walker Lockett possibly starting. Lockett 8.84 ERA and 37 2/3. Corey Oswald also could be starting, 6.69 ERA in parts of 3 seasons. They could go with the bullpen day with Lugo and Gisselman. I don't know what they're going to do. Chris Smith in the house. Great to see you, Chris. And I want to fade Sanchez. Do you have any feelings before we get a announced pitcher and market moves?
Not really. I mean, I don't really like the way the Nationals have been hitting the ball. But I mean, I see what you're saying with Sanchez. I mean, he's combined 16 hits and 9 runs, 4 home runs in just 2 starts. Does not look good at all. He found some rejuvenation in that playoff run. He was able to get guys guessing and able to scout them out really well. Him and Suzuki do a good job of that. But I think this might be the end of the run for Anibal here. Not tricking anybody with this stuff. He's never going to overpower anybody anymore. And I'm definitely not a guy that I'll be looking to back. And the Mets, I mean, they've been hitting the ball. They're 252 average as a team, on base percentage of 339, good for second in the league. Yeah, definitely. I'd be leaning the Mets, but the problem here is I don't know who's going to be going, and their bullpen was expected to be so much better, but still to be seen. And too many question marks here. We'll see what happens, but I'll probably be off this game completely.
And there's been times before where I get deja vu when I hear, Anibal Sanchez is done, where I thought he was done, and he screwed me. So
yeah, they thought they're done after Detroit. Yeah.
But and he's a guy I've faded often in my career. There's Prince of the City in the house. Prince of the City says, I need winners. Well, you've come to the right team because I'm going to back the Rays nonstop. Backed them yesterday, -1. I'm just going to back them and back them and back them. I think they're going to get hot. And I got -1 at -130 last night. Snell, Godley. I don't care. Rays are hitting poorly against righties. Red Sox are hitting lefties hard. That's not going to concern me. The Rays have won 4 straight, and I just think they're going to start rolling over teams. Simply put, I back the Rays with no fear whatsoever. And almost, I mean, sure, there's Snell on the mound who's, trying to get to 5 innings. They're really very tight on letting him go. But look, I just see a much better ball club and a much better pitcher, Snell over Godley. So I just jumped on the Rays again, -1 at -130. Are you making a move here, Rays, Red Sox, Nolly?
This is a game right away when I see Blake Snell on the mound that I'm interested in, especially the way he's looked early. In his first couple of starts, he did have a little command issues, but the fastball had a lot of life to it, and the velo is up, the velocity is up. So he looked really well. They let him pitch a little bit more against the Yankees, but they're always a short leash over there with the Tampa Bay, and that's okay with me because that's the best bullpen in baseball. And I reiterate, because of the way that they manage it. They know what they're doing over there. And I expect him to do well. He's 5-3 with the 3.1 ERA and 10 career starts against Boston. The last time out, I think he had a short stint when he came back from injury, but I never judge a guy when he's injured like that. And he looks a lot healthier the last 2 starts. And on the other side, you got Zach Godley, who was a starting pitcher, and he looked pretty successful. He had some good starts over there. He had a good year over there with the Diamondbacks, I believe, in 2017. But never kind of came back to that. Ever since then, he's been more so of an average pitcher. They actually moved him into the bullpen. And so I'm not really too sure what to expect from him, but the guy can give you quality starts. And the fact that the Rays have struggled against righties had made me consider that maybe a first 5 under here, and I'm still considering it. But like you said, they are catching fire. Getting Meadows back, Austin Meadows, their best hitter, was a huge, huge thing for their lineup. That makes them a lot scarier, and they can still hit. Choi over there dropping bombs, and they got a lot of guys that can get base hits, good on base percentages. They do the money ball thing. I like your look. I would definitely not talk you off of that. They're the hot team right now, and they got the pitching to match it. If anything, honestly, though, I think I might take the first 5 under, but I'm not pulling the trigger yet.
Mariners, Rangers is next on the docket. 2 games left. The Rangers, with Jordan Lyles, open up at -120, 15-cent move towards the Rangers. This game was initially juiced to the over 9. It's now not only juiced to the under 9, but some books have brought it down to 8.5. Lucky Lefty making moves on the Padres money line, A's money line, and Braves money line. Lucky Lefty going up against the Yankees. Very, very interesting. Let's go. Taijuan Walker. I cheer for these guys that deal with all the injuries and work so hard to get back. And Taijuan Walker looked good after that first start. Last couple starts, he's getting touched. I've never trusted Jordan Lyles ever. I've faded him as much as any pitcher I can think of. Mariners versus righties, 235, 688 OPS. Rangers versus righties, 193, 583 OPS. They closed the roof yesterday. Get that climate control of 72 and no power whatsoever. Walker, 2-2, 4.86 ERA, 7 career appearances against the Rangers. Lyles, 1-2, 4.78 ERA, 6 outings against the Mariners. That's 4 starts. Mariners are 4-5 on the road. Rangers are 7-9 overall, but 6-4 at home. Ben Sports 24/7 says, I wouldn't trust Lyles with anyone's money. Aunt L already took the Rangers at -120 last night. So different opinions here in the chat. Nolly knows I'm off this game. Are you making a move, Mariners, Rangers?
Right away when I look at this game, I mean, Taijuan Walker, it's kind of more so at this point that I want him to succeed more so than I'm expecting him to succeed. I was a fan of his, and I tried to back him last time out, and again, he lets you down. Just the inability to command. He lost a lot of command in the 4th inning. He just gave it up. It didn't look good, and as soon as he goes down that road, it's the snowflake that caused the avalanche, and he starts giving it up. But on the other side, Jordan Lyles, I mean, he's 1-2 with a 4.78 ERA against this Seattle team, and not a guy like you said, not a guy that I'm going to trust. Been hopping around lately, and really even these teams, either one of these teams is really a team that I want to trust. I understand the offense kind of sputters out late, sputters out for Texas when the roof is closed. Maybe look out for if the roof gets opened up, maybe taking over on that one. But yeah, I'm off this game. Not really something that I'm really looking at right here. I'm not trying to watch these guys pitch.
Hard to believe in something. Hard to trust an angle with those two on the mound. Let's move on to our final game of the day. A game I did pull the trigger on. Padres, Dodgers, both at 11-7 in this 60-game season. 86 Fahrenheit clear, 7 miles per hour out to right center. Zach Davies, he's just a baller. I don't know how he does it, man. The guy just throws these soft-ass changeups, and he's just a gamer, 2-1, 2.87 ERA, 0.83 whip. When he gets confident on the mound, he gets out. Tony Gonsolin is pitching. We thought it was going to be Julio Urias. It's Tony Gonsolin through 4 innings. So I guess he's had 2 bullpen starts because he came out of the bullpen. Okay, no, he's had 6 innings all year. I don't know why I have 4 up there. So he pitched 4 scoreless innings against the Diamondbacks. Oh, okay, no, that's it. Okay, sorry. I was looking at what he did last year, 2 innings against the Padres. Okay, so yeah, 4 innings this year. And he looked good in this start, but the Dodgers don't have Corey Seager. They're not getting production from Peterson, Muncy, Cody Bellinger, and they look susceptible right now. And Davies is a gamer, and if you're going to give me plus 135, I'm going to take it, and I did. I'm on the Padres plus 135 here against the Dodgers. Nolly Knows, Padres, Dodgers. Are you pulling the trigger on anything?
All right, Jimmy, I see how it is here. Okay. Yeah, Davies has looked good, and he's had some starts against the Dodgers where he was able to excel really well. Last year, he faced the Dodgers in back-to-back starts and was able to shut them down, pitch really well. And that's a guy that I actually like. Yeah, you look at some of the advanced metrics, and they don't like him, but the guy's producing, especially the last few years. And then you look at the Dodgers lineup, they're batting about $165 over the last week. They're really sputtering. They don't look well at all. But over here, you got Gonsolin on the mound. This is a guy that, yeah, you look at him and he's making a spot start here, but he's no slouch. This is a guy that the Dodgers are expecting to perform and actually contribute to this team. Dave Roberts said, make no doubt about it, this guy will help us. And that's what I expect from him. He's had a decent career so far last year, 2019, and I expect him to continue what he does. This is a guy that's a fastball, split finger guy, developed a split finger change up kind of combo, and he's excelled with it. He throws the pitch about 20-some% to mix with his sinker, which is well above average. I expect him to come out here and pitch really well. The fact that the line moved because of this pitching change was allowed me to get a better number, which I love. I caught a plus 105 on the under first 4.5. I did see some 5s out there, but I'm going under 4.5 with the plus money.
Wow, under 4.5 with the plus money. And a lot of cappers in the chat agreeing with that look. Wow, I like it. You know Gonsolin better than us. Can you give us an idea of his trajectory this season?
Well, to start off, they weren't sure where they're gonna use him. They put him back down to their little side squad that they had. I don't know what they call that now. But they're expecting him to be a starter for them. He's going to eat up some innings. Where you see some ball clubs are going to have a bullpen day, we're going to have a Gonsolin day. And that's a guy that he's a strong starter. This is a guy that we're going to rely on going forward. He's young. They're not putting him out there a lot, putting him out there in spurts, and we expect a lot out of him. He's a solid starter. Going to get you some ground balls, which to me I love. I love the double play, and high expectations for him, honestly, in our organization.
And he was the 2018 Dodgers minor league pitcher of the year. Connor Mack saying Gonsolin's got good stuff. Gonsolin's got good stuff. Yeah, I agree. Connor Mack says think Padres plus 135, but Dodgers don't want to get swept at home. Lean first 5 under. But Brian Warner, favorite bet of the day, Padres money line, and Padres first 5 minus a half at plus 150. Getting a nice big plus line there. There you have it. 14 MLB games capped. and beaten up and attacked. Let's go over Nolly Knows' looks here on this Wednesday, August 12th MLB card. Nolly, what do you have on your ticket?
All right, from the top, we got that Cleveland game. I doubled up on that one. It's going to be the Cubs and the Indians. First 5 under 4 and full game under 8 is what I grabbed. I would still take the 7.5. I like it. And then the other one here, we got Kansas City first 5 money line minus 110. I like the spot. They're going to light up the lefty over there and Wade Miley. And then we got the Dodgers. The Dodgers and the Padres first 5 under 4.5. A little bit of plus money on that. I like to see. I really like that play a lot. I really like the Cleveland game, and I really like all my plays today. Of course, we always do, right?
Yeah. No, but you're very good at keeping your amount down, and I'm 80 bets into my MLB season, and I'm trying to keep it down somewhat. I was opening up a little too much. Also, when I was going over my numbers, I haven't had that terrible day yet. I haven't had that big for day. But I've just been holding on. I'm 44 and 36, hitting 55% plus 3.85 units, plus 4.81% ROI. My average line's minus 110. I'm on the White Sox first 5 minus 135. I'm on the Cubs first 5 under 4 at minus 115. Shout out to Joey Work and the other cappers in the chat that got the 4.5 at FanDuel. Great stuff. Michael Uvalina says, knock on wood, Jimmy. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that stuff, man. I don't need to knock on shit. Royals first 5 minus 110. I know now I'm going to worry about it after saying that, but at first I wasn't. Royals first 5 minus 110. That's my favorite bet on the card. And I am going to pull the trigger on the Yankees. Brian Moore says, knock on these nuts. I am going to pull the trigger on the Yankees. I'm not going to pull the trigger on the Astros, but I am going to double up and eat this heavy juice. I'm going to take the Yankees first 5, minus half, minus 145, and the minus 1, which I'll calculate out when I make the bet, but it'll be around minus 145 as well. So I am going to be doing that. I'm on the Phillies minus 1, minus 129, in the first 5, minus a half, minus 135. There's a ton of juice on this card. Ton of juice. Joey Workout, Royals first 5 plus 114. Wow, great stuff. Absolutely great stuff, Joey. Wow. Minus 110 was the first available number for me. Wow. Rays minus 1 and minus 130. And Padres at plus 135. That's my action. Big thank you to our guest, Nolly Knows. You can catch Nolly Knows again Saturday, right? Nolly, you're going to be coming to us. Friday. Friday, you're going to be coming to us live from the Westgate?
May or may not. Yeah. But yeah, we're all the way live at the Westgate, make me sound like a degenerate all the way again, Jimmy.
Good.
But yeah, we're out there. We're cashing.
Okay. I hope so. I also follow our man Nolly on Twitter, Nolly562. I'm popping it in the chat right here. And thank you so much for joining us. Have a very profitable day and look forward to having you back on the show again this week.
Oh, Jimmy, it's always a pleasure, man. I love talking baseball, and I hope we get some winners for the chat, man.
I love it. There he is. And you can find Nolly Knows every Wednesday. We're locking that in every Wednesday here on Betting with the Bag, locking Nolly in on Wednesdays when we know we're going to get full cards. There he is right now. Nolly Knows. Okay, we are moving on to NBA. Bruins goal. You knew that was going to come. They're just out shooting them 21-9. Oh, no. Oh, no. Great stuff from Nolly Knows. Okay. Damn. All right, let's move on to the association. Tricky games here. And I started off last night 2-0. I ended up Princess City said, you say you're betting a Philly team. Yes, I am betting a Philly team. Gate Pasky saying, told you all to be careful with the Bruins. Yeah, look, the Bruins are turning it on. They're turning it on like a switch and playing very good hockey. And you know what? If Mrazek is bad tonight, let's get in Reimer. Let's get Reimer in there. We'll bring in Reimer next game. It wasn't the goaltending that was scaring me from what I heard about what was going on in this game. There's Alvin Smith in the house. Great to see you. What I was thinking was, if you're getting outshot 21-9 in the first 2 periods of a series, it's not a good sign. All right, let's move on to NBA. Started the day 2-0 and got confident. Again, it's all about line shopping, and I got on the Blazers at a bad time yesterday, -3.5, and they win by 3, and I deserve to lose that $150, and it's my fault. And now I'm sitting here at 130 and 120, 52% plus 0.32 units, ROI of 0.13%. It's not acceptable. And I've yet to make any moves here in the association. Let's start with Pacers, Rockets, and see what we are dealing with here. Pacers, Rockets. Rockets open up a -8.5. There's been a 1.5 swing towards the Pacers. Rockets are now 7-point favorites. This total opened up at 232. Now we have some 232.5s. We have some 233s. Depending on where you're shopping, both teams' pace has been slow. Slow for the Pacers, and Rockets' pace has actually sped up, and it tends to do that at times when Harden is out of the lineup. So pace last 5 games in the bubble, 107.70 for the Rockets. Pace for the Pacers, 100.9 possessions a game. The Heat and Pacers each play each other 2 games, and one is against each other, so they can still switch spots. The Heat beat the Pacers soundly last game. They looked good. They held down T.J. Warren. T.J. Warren, when you talk about T.J. Warren and how he's putting up so many points, he seems to still do that in the rhythm of the offense. And he had averaged 34.8 points a game. He was shooting 60.5%. That was going to come back to earth. That was through Indiana's first 5 games, and Miami's defense limited him to 5 points. Let's talk about who we're not going to see first with the Rockets. There's not going to be Westbrook. He's been dealing with this bruised quad. Rockets are on the second half of a back-to-back, and I'm sitting here thinking, why is everybody backing this Rockets team on the second half of a back-to-back? I know that in this spot with the Pacers 43 and 28, 1 game behind Miami in the East with 2 to play, and Indiana wraps up the regular season with the Heat on Friday, that there's still something to play with. And Ethan Payson saying, Warren out. Okay, there you go. TJ Warren out. Thank you for mentioning that. Let's bring up this starting lineup right now so we know exactly what's going on. TJ Warren out. Rockets on the second half of a back-to-back, so you thought there would be the lineup issues, but that's not the case. So Warren is out, and just game time decisions all over the map for these Pacers. So the expected starting lineup for the Rockets: Harden, Gordon back, then Daniel House, Covington, and Tucker. And even House is a game time decision. You got game time decisions on Brogdon, Oladipo, and Miles Turner. This becomes extremely difficult. And Brandon Lugo says bubble basketball requires a lot of research. Everyone a game time decision. There's Nilo in the house at Wasaga Beach. That's gorgeous, Nilo. Enjoy it. Enjoy it, my man, Nilo in the house. Shaft saying TJ Warren just didn't look comfortable with his jump shot versus the Heat. They did make some shots tough on him in the lane, but he did miss open shots just out of rhythm. Shaft saying I don't expect Oladipo to play. Gray Patterson backing the Houston Rockets first half, -4. Man, it's tricky. So Houston is in 4th behind Denver, just ahead of OKC and Utah, but they're going to hold on to that 4th seed. Ethan Payson says lean +7, but could get screwed with someone sitting and going away. And that's the way to play it. The way to play this is to wait. I'd love to hear Gray Patterson's breakdown of why he likes the Rockets -4. And one way of doing it is because he could be making a move expecting the Pacers to not bring in Brogdon or Oladipo tonight. There's Pacers Rockets. I would like to take the Pacers at the plus points. Mark Hungerford says Pacers are locked in season with the Heat. Home court doesn't matter, of course, because we're in the bubble. And Nate resting the crew, working on bench chemistry. It says cemetery, but I'm pretty sure it was chemistry. Canascat says reason and logic appear to have limited use in this bubble. Dutch Boy Fresh says save your money for tomorrow. Chris Smith says Toronto will beat my Sixers. And Brian Warner saying NBA games are better bet live. Better to bet live. Jason Folk says, DeRozan's 23. It was. I didn't expect him not to get a point in the fourth quarter. But it was very easy. It felt very easy. But then you only end up cashing it by half of a point. All right, Pacers, Rockets. Let's move on to Raptors, Sixers. Sixers pace continues to slow in the bubble, dealing with all these injuries. They're now getting 99.5 possessions a game. And the Raptors pace is sped up in the bubble at 104.20. Oh, there we go. Tim Anderson, home run. White Sox up 1-0. There we go. There we go. I can partially pay for this Hurricanes loss if that happens. Ron Lofton waiting for player props on his book. Gerardo Hernandez. Now it's great to see you, Gerardo. Alvin Smith saying Raptors. Gate pass key by who? By who? I need more info. I'm not watching the game. So the Sixers sat Embiid, Harris, Horford, Richardson in that 130-117 loss to Phoenix on Tuesday. So it's very possible all four sit again. And Brett Brown wants to get Embiid a game, and that would, before the playoffs start. But, that's very, very questionable. The Raptors won 5-6 since the restart. They're playing very good basketball, and they're just – it doesn't matter. We're so deep. Boucher comes in with 25 points in 29 minutes. Oh, Mrazek, big save. Okay. 25 points in 29 minutes. Let's see what they expect for starting lineups. They expect a very dangerous starting lineup from the Raps. Lowry, Van Fleet, Anunoby, Siakam, Gasol. And then Philly is hoping to have Harris and Jay Rich and Horford in the lineup. 2-0 White Sox. Kane's on the power play. Prince of the City said that I would bet the Sixers with you, Regu Dom, and not flush his money. Back home runs. Yeah, they're smashing lefties. That will pay for. Maybe the Canes can get us in. Oh, wouldn't. Okay, I thought he said would. Okay. All right. Shat says if you hit the thumbs up on the show day, you will have good luck. Okay, let's see what we're talking market moves here. Raptors open up at -5.5. They're now at 6.5. It just seems like the play, but if it's going to be the play, it would have to be the play early. And they're locked into the 2 seed against the Nets 7 seed. I still would want to wait until the very last minute before I decide, or until you get some. So I guess what I'm going to do is I will take the Raptors first half. But do I want to bet that they're playing everybody? Birdie says Philly's still being competitive more so than what people thought they would. Johnny Boy's Fight Palace in the house. Great to see you. Brian Warner also with us on this White Sox first 5. I love it. This is a tough back-to-back for the Sixers. And if Embiid and Harris and Horford don't – you know what? I'm going to lock in Raptors first half. I'm going to lock in Raptors first half because if there's lineup changes, I expect it'll be heavier on the Sixers side of things. There's Boston Nick in the house, the Lock Nick Monster, a.k.a. Mr. Fat Fist. Rishi, I have a bunch of plays, and we're going to go over them shortly, but I am going to take Raptors first half here. I'm going to take Raptors first half. -3.5. I agree that they'll roll, but will they roll in the fourth quarter when they're up 14? Yeah, I'm going to take the Raptors first half here. If the line changes are announced, it's going to be more detrimental, I'm expecting, to the Sixers and the Raptors. Okay, let's move on to Heat versus Thunder. And Ethan Pace saying, only game time decision on the Raptors is Ibaka. I still want to see that in print, but that's what we're betting on. We are betting on the fact that the Raptors. But you know what? I guess it's well put by Birdie, who says, "What does it matter? Raps 5 through 11 are better than the Sixers 5 through 11." Okay, let's keep rolling. We're gonna move on to Heat Thunder now. Heat Thunder is the next spot up here. We're gonna go to full game spreads and totals. See what we're dealing with. The Heat opened up at -1.5. They're now at -3. This total opens up at 219.5 and is now at 221.5 or 222. Heat come into this game, a game up on the Pacers for the 4th seed in the Eastern Conference. They break their 2-game losing streak with Monday's win over the Pacers. So they're coming into this back-to-back. No, Gabe Pasky. Babano was on yesterday. Babano was on yesterday, and because we was the first day of the NHL playoffs, I brought him in a day early, but we are locking in Babano starting next week every Thursday. Every Thursday, Gabe Pasky. Every Thursday you will see Babano on the show, but not tomorrow. Tomorrow is Aunt L will be joining us. And Dennis Garcia saying Boston had the best chance on the Carolina power play. Spenny Penny G got the over 220 in this Heat Thunder game. Let's take a look at what the expected lineups are right now. Dragic, Robinson, Butler, Crowder, and Adebayo. So you got Bam at the 5. Kendrick Nunn is supposed to be back. I believe he's back. I think he's in the quarantine period. With the Thunder, you have Chris Paul, you have Shea, Dort, Gallinari, and then Adams is a game-time decision. You know that Schroeder's going to be out. Let's take a look. I had a thought that so in Monday's loss to Phoenix, that was the second half of a back-to-back. So this is the 3rd and 4 for them. They sat out Nerlens Noel, but they're expected that Gallinari, Shea, Adams, and Noel will be back for this game. And if that's the case, then why would there be a 1.5-point move towards the Heat? Because they're playing everybody as well. Heat pace in the bubble, 100.8 possessions a game. Thunder pace in the bubble, 101.29 possessions a game. Eskimo says Thunder's top 3 scores are out. Doubt that they play. That has to be what's going on here for the market move. Eskimo saying someone has to be out. Someone has to be out. So you're gonna have to wait and find out what's going on. Let's move on. The Clippers, Nuggets. That's what's next up. Clippers open up at -5.5. They are now down to 4.5. This total sitting at 229 for the Clippers, Nuggets. And there we go. Shaft saying Heat first quarter is the best bet. Shaft looking at Heat first quarter. Penny G is on the Nuggets +5 here. Why don't we just quickly go over Spenny's looks in NBA? He's on Heat -1.5, so he beat that market move. Nuggets +5.5. Heat OKC over 220, and he's on the Nuggets Clippers over 228.5. Michael Irvelina looking at the Clippers -4.5 here. Both teams' pace is just slowing here in the bubble. Clippers have a pace under 100 possessions a game. I don't remember seeing that ever during the regular season. 99.9 possessions a game. Nuggets at 96.66. Clippers hold a 1.5 game lead over the Nuggets with 2 games remaining. Denver a game and a half ahead of the Houston Rockets. The Nuggets lost 124-121 on Monday to the Lakers. Corver hit that 3 with 0.4 seconds left. And the Nuggets were in control until they just emptied out their bench. Ethan Payson letting us know Gary Harris and Barton out. So he is on the Clips. Let's take a quick look at what is expected here. Yeah, Barton out, Harris out. So they're expecting Murray, Craig, Porter, Millsap, Jokic. Clippers, Jackson, George, Leonard, Marcus Morris, and Zubac. Michael Irving, win and clinch, Clips cover. Yeah, there's so many moving parts whether or not the coach is going to care. By the way, Montrezl Harrell's returned to the bubble. It's so hard to have any trust on a look here. And I'm not going to. I'm not going to force anything. But Michael Irving is so big on this game with the Clippers. And money coming in on the Nuggets. Yeah! Wow. 3-3. Woo! So you're telling me there's a chance. Whew. Sterling Straley saying money coming in on Denver. I'm going to keep things simple. I'm on the Raptors first half. Gate pass got is over. Great job. I'm just going to stick with the Raptors first half. Going to keep things very, very, very simple. Rister from the point. Love it. Okay, let's move on to the National Hockey League right now. We are 3-3 in Bruins, Hurricanes, and my as you guys who roll with me every day know, I've got. Look at that! Brady could have gotten Carolina money line at plus 500. Yes, Boss Nick, I'm on the Canes here today with $200, and I put $200 on the series, but I have $100 on the Canes to win the conference at 15-1 and $100 to win the cup at 30-1 from the beginning of the year. And my NHL futures aren't good. And I need it. Okay. Islanders Capitals. Let's get to work. Islanders head coach Barry Trotz brought the Capitals to their lone Stanley Cup win. And these teams faced each other so much. And what's happened when they face each other is the Islanders step up. They step up time and time again. And this isn't Trotz versus Reardon, and I don't even like Reardon. But if you look at the times these teams have met each other, this is going to be the 8th time the Islanders and Capitals have met each other in playoffs. Washington's 2-5. Ethan Payson said Blue Jackets have to be done right. You know, Tortorella seems to be able to press the right buttons and light the fire under them. But that was very tough to lose a game like that. Gate Pass Key says Islanders and Caps get decent goaltending. Love the under here. And right then, Birdie says I love the over here, and I've bet it 5.5 at plus 120. And Piker in the house says Reardon's neighbors with Bernie Kosar. Well, I hope Reardon hasn't tried to talk to him. There's Flick My Bick in the house. It's just popping my head, and I've had you on the big screen in my office. I'll show you. Flick My Bick. Thank you, my friend. You're a good man. Tailed the first 5. Beautiful. And the team total over 4.5. Get it, Flick My Bick. Flick My Bick. And here we go from Gas Station Sushi. Max betting the Orioles and Clippers. Wow. The great Gas Station Sushi in the house. Max betting the Orioles and Clippers. And Brandon Lugo, by the way, saying Blue Jackets can still get back in it. And Spenny Penny Bombs is on the Islanders plus 115. Piker. Okay. Okay. I got to stay focused. All right, let's see the market moves here. Islanders, Washington. The under 5.5. 15-cent move towards the under. Opened at minus 125. Bet365 now at minus 140. It's still a minus 135 plus 115 situation here. Robert Allen saying the Blues are going to surprise a lot of us and go deep, if not win all again. It wouldn't be a surprise. They're the best team in the West. The Avalanche is going to have something to say. And the Avalanche have a really nice mix of skill and truculence. So I know, Prince of the City, it's the Phillies. Glenn Elliott, man in the house. Great to see you, Glenn. He's on the Islanders. Capitals go to OT at plus 315. Birdie says Islanders roll 4 high-energy lines and Capitals take shifts off. The Islanders will get their goals. I think 6 is the number for most games in the series. Diehard says the Coyotes might have something to say. Look, I hope they do. I would love to see the Coyotes have something to say. We're going to get to that game shortly. So they played in – they've had some vicious series against each other. Vicious. 2015 7-game series, the conference quarterfinals. If you guys remember that series, Tom Wilson knocked out Lubomir Visnovsky, who finished his career. Lubomir Visnovsky never played a game again. And Tom Wilson, he's the kind of guy you need to win the Stanley Cup. The Tom Wilsons, the Ryan Reeves, they're few and far in between, and you need them. Ryan Warner is on the Yotes. And Porch Monkey says Yorts have 0 chance in the series. And Gate Pass Key applauding Glenn Elliott Mann's look. Oh, look, Tony Mang says Tigers just got one back. Okay. All right. Bada boom. I've only made one play, and it's from last night. I wanted to talk out NHL here. Mr. Gokster says Capitals are going to be a very tough out. So the big things, just from a player personnel situation, that need to be known is that Boychuk is back for the Islanders, and Carlson is expected back for the Capitals. Brady says, because of the intensity these two teams play against each other, lots of penalties, main reason why I believe Washington wins this series. Let's take a look at what the series odds are anyways right now very quickly here. To win the series, the Islanders are plus 125. The Capitals are minus 145. Okay, let's take a look at the lineups. I, in all honesty, with Washington at minus 145, I mean that's not as expensive as possibly it should be. You got Backstrom, Ovi, and Oshie on that first line. You have Vrana, who's stepped up in a big way with Kuznetsov and Wilson as your second line. You got Kovalchuk with Hagelin and Boyd on the third line. Hathaway, Dowd, and Panic on the fourth line. And from Corsi ratings, I don't believe it is, but from Corsi ratings, that's the number one fourth line in the NHL with Panic, Dowd, and Hathaway. It's their defense and their defensive coverage that you get concerned about. They need Carlson back because if their first defensive unit is Dylan and Orlov, they're in trouble. And then let's move over to the Islanders, where Trotz loves these guys. They're just lunch bucket type players, man. They just get after it every day. They clock in and go to work. Their first line, Eberle, Barzal, and Lee. Then Beauvillier, Nelson, and Bailey is their second line. Their third line, Pajot, Komarov, and Brassard. Martin, Zikas, and Clutterbuck, their fourth line. They don't have a line that's higher than a 19th ranking. And they're very fortunate to be getting Boychuk back. He does a lot of good things for them. Michael Overliner says over 5.5 in Caps game and Blues game. Tony Manning says I like Ovi to score when they went 3 games, I believe, without a goal. Ovi racked up a Hattie versus goalie 2 games ago. This is going to be a watch. So how I'm going to handle the playoffs in NHL is similar to how I handle NBA in general. It's going to be situational. And I need this series to get off the ground and start rolling before I make moves. Brady says Islanders are the hardest working team, 0 to 60 minutes in NHL. They're tough. They just outwork you. All right, let's move on to the next spot, Coyotes Avalanche. The Coyotes dispatch the Predators pretty easily, 4-1. Mr. Gokster said New York Islanders went up against Florida's D. Washington will be much tougher. They will be if Carlson's back. Gabe Paskey says, I love the way the Coyotes are coached, but the Avs are a physical and an offensive squad. Avs minus 1.5. Gabe Paskey, who applied the dirty hit? Would love to know. All right. C-Max has a lot of in-game looks for me in these games. In Opfa in the house. Great to see you in Opfa. Arizona plus 160 is the play of the week. So let's talk first about the issues here for this Avs squad. And they just didn't get rolling really offensively in the 3-game series. But if you look at this lineup, it's just got that perfect mix of toughness and speed. The Nemesnikov, McKinnon, Rantanen line is up front. They moved Landeskog onto the second line with Nazem Kadri and Nishushkin. Nishushkin never stepped up offensively like we thought he would when he was a high draft pick by the Stars. But he gives the soft hands to the toughness and the work ethic of Landeskog and Kadri. That look at this line. So their first line, Nemesnikov, McKinnon, Rantanen, Corsi rankings 5th in the NHL. Their second line, Landeskog, Kadri, Nishushkin, ranked 4th out of second lines. Their third line, Burakovsky, Comfer, and Donskoy, is ranked 3rd out of all third lines in the NHL. And then you have Bellemare, Calvert, and Nieto on the fourth line. That's the 9th ranking line. Their defense is so good. Ryan Graves, so underrated with Makar, who's a spectacular. You got Girard and Johnson, and then Cole and Zadorov, the 4th-ranked number 1 defensive unit, the 4th-ranked number 2 defensive unit, 9th-ranked 3rd-ranked defensive unit, the 9th-ranked 3rd defensive unit. Wow, look at that. Dennis Garcia says Starship Jubilee skipping race at Woodbine to run back to Saratoga in the Grade 1 Diana. That's exciting. Wow. So let's go over to the Coyotes. And the issue that we've had with the Coyotes that believe in themselves right now. Gabe Pasquis says the responsible play is Avs puck line. And if the Coyotes have a chance in a game, it's this first one. It's this first one. Ride the momentum. They've been playing important games against a tough team. And I know that the Predators are a tough team that, loses a lot. But they're still a tough team to play. They have size. They have speed. Hall, Dvorak, Kessel. I mean, Kessel is despised by models, despised by the Corsi numbers. Kessel is so low ranked. So is Christian Dvorak. Their second line, Keller, Stepan, and Garland's a little better. Then you have Krause, Soderberg, and Fisher, Hinostra, Richardson, and Grabner. Fourth line I really, really like. What you have with the Predators, with the Coyotes, is a top 4 defense that's fast and makes outlet passes, and they're just not tough. And that hurts them. When you play a team every set, I'd be very comfortable if the Canucks played this team. And I think any team has a chance when they're not getting beaten up. And the Coyotes just don't beat you up. They just don't hurt you. So I think the Avalanche take care of business. I think the best gambling situation would be for the Coyotes to win Game 1 and to take the Avalanche on the series. Then you'll get a better look on that number. I'm not going to fade any of the teams that got through an easy first-round series because I think they have the momentum. But right now, the Coyotes to win the series is plus 250. Ron Lofton says Yotes fan just a watch spot for him. Yeah, I agree. The total here is at 5.5, slightly juiced to the under. This could be a spot to take an over. There's Toite Latte in the house. Great to see you. Toite Latte, my man. So, now that we talk about this more and more, there's a lot of offense here. And you're going to be getting a plus line. What kind of plus line do we get on the total? Just plus 100. Brian Warner says, I feel the same about this Boston Canes game, Jimmy. If Boston wins, search for the best Canes series line. That's Mr. Gold says, my gut feeling was the over plus 100. Boston Knicks on the over 1.5 at minus 103. The thing is that with this Coyotes team that's so offensive, Tocchet has them playing in a very defensive style because of how offensive they are, and it worked over the Predators. What Brian Warner talking about, the in-series bets are so – that's where you get the value. Dennis Garcia took the Flames to win 3-1. So to win back-to-back. When the Jets were decimated with injuries, they didn't have their best 2 scorers, and we're getting outplayed badly. And he got that plus 175. It was a perfect bet. Okay, I have interest in the over 5.5. Let's just keep going and see if the trigger will get pushed. Brady said, Jimmy, they played well under the number in regular season games. That's why I lay off the total. They sure did. Let's not get caught up in me reading out their lineup. Because when I read out this lineup, I'm like, man, this is a fast lineup that should be putting pucks in the net and allowing odd man rushes the other way and should be getting the best outlet passes. I mean, look at that second line of Goligoski and Halmerson and Ekman-Larsson, Demers, the first line. You're going to be getting these outlet passes from these guys. They're very good at it. Porch Monkey says shutting down the Predators is like playing a junior B team compared to playing the Avs. The Avs are very good. Again, I'm going to watch these games. I'm going to sit here and watch sports for the next 12 hours. Or I guess I should say 10 hours because I got to get up so early. I'm interested in that over 5.5, but the Avalanche weren't. Let's just go over the Avalanche's games here quickly. in the round robin because none of the top centers were looking very strong in the top 4 seeding exhibition series, and it's very tough. But none of them looked good. None of them looked in control. Sorry, let me move over to NHL. Just before I decide to pull the trigger, let's take one quick look. We still have the Habs Flyers to break down. All right, so they open up with a 2-1 win over the Blues. Then they beat the Stars 4-0 handily and lose 4-3 to the Golden Knights. Gate Pasky says Coyotes will have to draw a lot of penalties, and even on the power play advantage, I still can't take the Yotes. That's why I moved to the puck line. And Porch Monkey says Avs only gave up 2 through the first 2. Their defense is so strong, and they have the Kadri line to shut people down. Okay, let's move on. Kadri, God, what were the Leafs doing? You need that kind of anger, chippiness, defensive responsibility, face-off winning. All right, let's move on to the Canucks Blues. Man, it broke my heart that these knuckleheads have to go in and play the Blues. And, you know, I would expect to get a little more than plus 125, to be honest with you, in this game. And I would need more than plus 125 to take the bet on the Canucks. When we move over to win series here, the Canucks are at plus 155, and that's not enough. Tony Mang, look, the guys that get suspended, they play on an edge that you want to have. And yeah, that suspension hurt the Leafs badly going to playoffs last year. Or 2 years ago, I guess it was. But you want that edge. You need that edge. You need that edge to be a team that's tough to play every second night. Mr. Ghost says, look at Gardner for the Canes. Tony Mang, no, I don't think I need to stop Tony, my man. I think that Kadri is exactly the kind of tough hockey player that the Leafs don't have. Kate Pasky says, I lead to under in Vancouver, St. Louis. Don't quite trust Markstrom right now. I trust Markstrom. Sure hope he gets back to playing well, rooting for the Nuggets. There's Jason Lowry on the first period under Washington, New York. And if lose, then rinse, repeat. Wow, okay, I get that. Jason Lowry. That's an interesting way of doing it. I trust Markstrom. 2.27 goals against average, 926 save percentage. He had one game where he looked awful. You know, that'll happen. So I trust him. This total is at 5 right now. Quinn Hughes is the main focus of everybody's attention who plays the Canucks. He's so special. Goal and 5 assists in that series. But Pedersen got some confidence. Horvat got some confidence. Besser, Pearson. And then we look, how do you beat the Canucks? You beat up that first line. We don't have guys to protect Pedersen. And when Pedersen got hit in a very tough spot along the boards, it was JT Miller. It was JT Miller who stepped up and said this is not acceptable and tried to fight. You need to physically punish this Canucks team and physically punish Pedersen. And when you look at this lineup for the Blues, it's not that tough anymore. It was tougher last year. It's still a good lineup, but are they going to be able to physically dominate this Canucks team? They lose all 3 round robin postseason games in that 1-4 series. And this is a team that's rolling right now. Miller's rolling. Pedersen's rolling. Horvat's rolling. Virtanen got some confidence. Binnington looked terrible in that. 4.10 goals against average, 895 save percentage. So Binnington looked incredible against the Canucks in the regular season. Is he going to turn that on right now? Mr. Gozer says Vancouver first period could be a nice look. Andrew G says you punch Pedersen in the head. That's what you do. You're absolutely right. I think that I think the Canucks could be dangerous in this first game. In saying that, I don't want to bet $200 on them. So I'm not. I can't do it. I can't do it. Okay, sorry, we skipped the Habs game. My fault. Habs Flyers. And here's a move I do want to make. Here is going to be, I think, my only bet, but I did want to talk it out with you guys before I pulled the trigger on it. Gate Pass Key says refs are starting to protect Pettersson more. Maybe Nucks win on special teams. I feel that. But I need to watch. And I don't want to just sit here and be a fan. And I guess, in all honesty, I don't really need to have $200 on it to be screaming like crazy. And you know, if I'm going to take the Canucks, I want to get a huge payout. And they're just not giving it to me. Birdie says Habs money line plus 130 is my play of the day. Carey Price looked very good. We have some exciting matchups here. One is the coaches, Vigneault and Claude Julien. Good guys, you know, and good French-Canadian guys. They played together on the Salt Lake Golden Eagles in the early 80s. And, you know, they're friends. But if you ask Vigneault, who I love, I think he's such a great coach. He said there's no friends anymore in playoff hockey. He's such a good coach. Gate Pass Key says Price frustrates. Mr. Ghost says, give me full game over Arizona, Colorado. I just can't do that right now, but I don't dislike it at all. Gate Pass Key says Price frustrates the Flyers in the first game. They have had it easy on offense. Habs could steal the first game. Weber, Gallagher, Price will make it difficult. Glenn Elliott Mann says a big Alain Vigneault fan and his coaching system took Canucks and Rangers to the Cup. Now looking to do it again with the Flyers. Christopher Comentini says Flyers are the better team. Don't overthink it. And Brian Warner is on the Knuckleheads. I like it. I just want to be rewarded a little more than I'm being rewarded. Look at Yenny Toon staying hot, man. 4-1 last night. I had a boy, Yenny Toon. All right, so this is my look. This is going to be my only bet on the day. I still haven't made my mind up, Mr. Ghoster. I still haven't made my mind up. There's times that I like him and there's times I don't. I'm warming up to him. But I liked him a lot when he was signed. I thought I was going to like him. Gate Basky says Flyers are a better club. Habs are a better team. Big difference. Very interesting point. C-Max says Philly puck line. So Price has completely carried this team. He shut out the Penguins over the final 94 minutes of the 4-game series. Vigneault is not going to force the issue against Price. He knows exactly what he's dealing with. The Flyers are getting Jakub Voracek back. Sean Moser says under is my favorite hockey bet today. Carter Hart is going to step up here, going up against Price. This is Carter Hart's wildest dream. I'm sure he would like to be doing it in front of a sold-out crowd. But this is his dream. Sean Moser is going to take the under 5.5. I'm not. I'm going to take the under 5 in this game. There have been times when I've been bullish about these unders and gone with the 4.5 at plus 195, and I came very close to doing that. I'm going to build my own under 5. Bet365 is not offering it. So I'm going to go get myself a plus line. I just want to make sure it's big enough. Because if it's not big enough, I will pull the trigger. So minus 140, and thanks to Ron Crawford, we have this minus 1 calculator. It's a plus 123. And that's going to be enough for me. I'm going to take the under 5 in Habs Flyers. I expect Vigneault and the Flyers they're a bigger team. and the Habs are a faster team. And when you deal with that, and you deal with two power plays that aren't producing, Montreal 0 for 12 against Pittsburgh, Philadelphia 0 for 11 in their 3-round robin games, you know that it's going to be Danault, Gallagher, and Tatar playing nonstop. And Tatar, I really like the way he's played in the playoffs, and he's got 0 points. And that shows you how Montreal is winning. Tatar was going up against Sid, and his sole focus was not letting Sid beat him. And I like it. I like it. I like the way Tatar is playing. No, it's all good, Nolly. It's all good, my man. You don't need to send it just for us cutting up the video. So all good, my friend. So I guess plus 123 is enough for me because I get the push at 5. And why do I have to go be a hero and take the under 4.5? I don't need to. So I'm going to build the under 5 here with the Habs Flyers. And I'm going to expect Price, who's on a 94-minute shutout streak, to continue that. Gate Pasquis says Tatar is much better, much more complete player than he was in Detroit. You know who also is? Nyquist in Columbus. Makes you question Babcock some more. So there we have it. There's my only look in NHL tonight. Under 5 at plus 195. And excuse me, that was the under 4.5 was at plus 105. Under 5 at plus 123, and that's if the odds don't change. So I like it. And NHL, and those of you who rode with me for a long time know that this has been a very disappointing season for me. And I've hit my highest highs in NHL in my career. And I probably wouldn't have lasted when I went down to Costa Rica. I wouldn't have lasted had I not hit in NHL the way I did. I got up to 43 units up in NHL with Pistol Pete Loshak. Last year, I got up to 30 units. And right now, I'm sitting at minus 4.05 units. I'm also sitting on a 4-game losing streak. So I'm upset. I'm just seeing some drizzy. Okay, there you have it. One play for me in NHL, and I'm confident I'm going to go in and attack. Now, you could then take a correlating play if you wanted, and that would be the first period under. And the only thing for me, for you guys that you could do is take under a half, so to have a 0-0, and put a small bet on that because that's plus 375. That would be the other look, because the under 1.5 first period is not enough. You know what? Minus 120. You got to think there's going to be a big feel-out process here. Under 1.5 at minus 120, that's a pretty good number. That's a pretty good number. Mr. Ghost says I'm all over that first period under. I did not expect it to be minus 120. I don't know why I did not expect to see a minus 120 under 1.5. All right, double up. Double up time. Double up time. Let's get after it. Let's sweat buckets. Let's walk around my shirt off drinking. First period, under 1.5, minus 120. I'm going to double up. That's just, I don't know why that's not minus 135 in my head. All right, there you go. Thank you guys so much for rolling with us. What a treat it is to cap with you guys. I enjoy this immensely. The last 6 months have been so messed up and so awful. Having this opportunity to cap with you every day is just makes me wake up in the morning exciting and ready to rock. All right, let's go over all of my action. White Sox, first 5, minus 135. That's coming close to a casher. Cubs, first 5, under 4 at minus 115. Yankees, first 5, minus a half at minus 145 and minus 1. I'm not sure what I'm going to get when I put that together. Phillies, minus 1 minus 129. And first 5 minus I have minus 135. And now I'm seeing gas stations make a big bet on LeBlanc. I'm very uncomfortable. I'm not going to back the Astros at that line. Much love, a porch monkey. Thank you. There's Robert Cherry in the house. Rays -1 to minus 130. And Padres at plus 135. And I guess I somehow went past that Royals game. Royals first 5 minus 110. That's my favorite look on the board. That's my favorite look on the whole board. And then when we get to NBA, I'm on the Raptors first half. Alexis Santiago on the Rockies. Play of the day, best team, best pitcher, home park, 2 units. Cross my fingers. I like it. Much love, Cashman. So, and then in NHL, I'm doubling up on a spot, and it's going to be fun to watch Julian and Vigneault go back and forth. It's going to be fun. Much love to all you guys. Thank you so much for joining. Jason Falk says, fading the Reds like flopping a set. Yenny Toon, Jason Falk, Spencer, Panny G, Alexis Santiago, Glenn, Elliott Man, Cashman 19, Birdie, Robert Cherry, Sebastian Talks, MMA, A Porch Monkey, Jason Falk, Mr. Gokster, Trot Wham, Boston Nick, a.k.a. Mr. Fatus, a.k.a. the Lock Nick Monster, Dennis Garcia, Mark Unkefer, Melvin Batansis, Canas Cat, Connor Mack, Leo Leon, Christopher Comentini, Brian Warner, Birdie. I love you guys. Tony Mang. Have ourselves a day today. Had a couple poor days in a row. And it ends now. I'm also on the Hurricanes. Let's get that overtime goal. Get paid in full. Lecce. Halos bookmakers. Have a day today. Michael Jordan fist. Kobe Bryant fist.